Hello, what's going on YouTube? My name is Wamnima Mukrabai, back again with another YouTube tutorial on my own programming series on C++. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe so that the channel will grow, and make sure you share these video tutorials so that other people may view and join, so that the community can grow. So in the previous video tutorial, I made a tutorial about how to install codeblocks. So what you can just do now is launch the codeblocks that we installed in the previous video tutorial. If you didn't watch that previous tutorial, to avoid any errors, please make sure you watch it, and the link will be in the description box. And if you have any queries, you have any questions or anything, please just feel free and leave them in the comment box below. So after I've launched codeblocks, you will reach this window. So what you can just do is click on create new project, or you can just go on file, then select new, then come on project. Then after I've reached project, so there are a variety number of selections that you can make here. But in our case, since I'm going to take you through the basics of C++, and to do that, we only need the console application. So you can just select console application so that I may take you through what you need. So here you click on go after you've selected console. Then here you just click on next. Then here you can select C++ and click next. Then here you can name your project according to what you wish. So for example, this project, we're going just to name it first program. Then after I've named it, the program, you can just come here on the ellipsis button and select where you want to save it. So I'll save it in this place. So in your case, it will depend on where you want to save it. You can just create a folder for your project and start saving all your projects in there. So after I've done as said here, you can just click next. Then we'll leave everything here as it is and click finish. So if you followed along all the steps that we have done there, I'm sure you are at this window. So on this window, what you can just do now is look on your left, you find a panel. Now on this panel, you'll see the name that you have given to your project under workspace. So in my case, is first program. So under first program, you'll see sources. So what you can just do is click on the plus button to maximize and see, or to expand, not maximize, to expand, so that you see what's inside. So here you see the main.cpp. So the .cpp is a extension for C++ programs. So each and every C++ program that you're going to write is going to have a .cpp extension. So this is the main CPP program, our main CPP program. So what you can just do is double click on it. So you'll see some code here. So let me just zoom in. So this code, I'll explain what it does, but I'm going to erase everything so that we can write our first program from scratch. So here, you don't need to worry about like a lot of stuff, but the most important thing that you need to understand is just this basic syntax. So in this program, we're going to write a program to our end user that will just greet them as our very basic C++ programming. So here, whenever you want to write a program in C++, so there are what we call libraries. So what is a library? A library is just simply a group of pre-written code. This code has already been written for you, or it is mainly available for you to make your programming easy. So for example, like I would give an example of, let's say, cooking. So if you want to cook, then it means you want to cook, okay, let's say you want to cook shima. Then when you want to cook shima and some relish, then we say we want to eat relish that will be flavored, maybe it should have a flavor of that relish that is maybe canned fish. So for us to create that flavor means that we'll prepare shima and put it aside, and then start preparing the relish. Means we have to buy the fish, we have to clean it, then after cleaning it, we have to start frying it or doing whatever types of cooking, putting all the spices so that it has that taste of a tinned fish. Now to save all that process of buying fish, cleaning, whatever, what you can just do is just go into the shop and buy a already cooked canned fish and open it, warm it, then you can have your meal. Same applies in programming. There is pre-written code that we call as libraries. So these libraries will contain pre-written code that we can use in our programs instead of writing the whole code from scratch. So what we just need to know when we want to use this code is to know the word or their name. So once we have known the name to call, then we can just call. And there's a syntax that we use to call those those libraries. So the syntax is simply the preprocessor directive. You use a preprocessor directive. So a preprocessor directive is nothing but code that runs before the compilation of a program. So this code runs before the compilation of a program. So without wasting much of your time, I'll show you the syntax of a preprocessor directive. So to use a preprocessor directive, you have to put the pound symbol or the hash symbol, then type the word include. So we all know what this word include means. It means that there's something that is not there, but you just want to include it in our program. So we want to include that thing in our program. So we'll put these angle brackets. So now this is the syntax of our preprocessor directive. This preprocessor directive will run before the compilation. What is to compile first before I can further call on my library? So to compile is simply just to convert code in a higher level programming language into a language that a machine will understand. We all know that machines understand binary code. I explained in one of my video tutorials. If you haven't watched it, please make sure you follow it so that you can understand what language the computer uses. So now here, this will run. After running the preprocessor directive, the linker will link this preprocessor directive together with our main code that we've written. So here, we're writing a program that will greet our end user. That's what we have planned to do. So we're going to do input and output. So inside these angle brackets, we need to call a library called IO stream. This IO stream is going to allow us to do what? To do input and output in our program. So this I stands for input, then the O stands for output. So now this library here that we have put, it means that it is already written, it's stored in our C++. During the installation, it's usually there in our library. So what we can just do is call it the way of code it using this hash include so that it can be used in our program. So now for us to format our program on the next step, we'll be using different keywords in our program. So for us to be able to use those keywords, we need to tell the compiler where it's going to find those keywords. So there are different ways of doing this. There's a shortcut for us or for me as a beginner that I can use. So when I use that shortcut, it means that I don't have to put any prefix at the beginning of any keyword that I'm writing. So it means that automatically on every keyword that is going to be in my program is already going to be added automatically. So here we'll use this using namespace std library. So std is just the short form for standard. So this is the standard library where we'll find different keywords that we are going to use. So a keyword, these are just words that are meaningful to the compiler so that they will allow us do multiple stuff. So as you can see now here, I've added a semicolon at the end of this statement. So why do we add a semicolon? So a semicolon in C++ is to show that it's the end of a statement. So when the compiler reads this, when it reaches this part, it will know that this is the end of the statement, so that even if I am to write another statement here, this will be treated as another statement. And when I put a semicolon and so on and so forth, they'll be treated as new statements. So a semicolon will show that the statement has ended. In our normal world, we use a full stop to show that a sentence has ended. So this is it. So if you have reached this part, then it means that you are ready. And I hope you have understood and have explained this part carefully. I hope you have understood. And if you haven't understood, you have any question, please just do as wise and leave your question in the comment box. So here we'll proceed. So in every program that you write in C++, there has to be where it starts. So that point where that program starts is usually the entrance of the program. So whichever program that you're going to write in C++ is going to have an entry point or a starting point. So when you compile or run your program, it's going to look for that entrance. So same applies in our real life. If we have a compound, then in that compound that we want to enter, there has to be a gate. So that main gate is the entrance. Suppose there's no other gate, we only have one gate. So it means that whoever wants to enter our compound has to pass through the main gate. So now there'll be no other point which someone will look for. If we invite them to our place, they'll start looking, where is the main gate to this? So after they have seen the main gate, that's when they will now enter and access what's inside or do the other things. So same applies in C++ programming. There is a entry point, which is the main function. So the main function has always to be there as the compiler is going to look for it whenever you build or compile your program. So the data type of your function will depend on what you want it to do. If you want it to return an integer value, then the data type will be of int. So don't worry about data type. I'm going to explain about it in a different video tutorial. For now, just get this. So for us to write a function, for example, if we wanted to return an integer, we can say int, then the word main has to be always there. Then we'll put some parentheses, then we'll put curly braces. Yes, then here we can just type the word return. So let me explain what I've just done here. So this integer type is a data type. It's a keyword that is reserved for C++. Then this is just the name for our function. So this is the name for this whole function. Same applies when you want to call someone, like my name, Wamnyima Mkrabai. So if you want to call me, you have to call me Wamnyima. So you want to call me by maybe what I do or what I am, because there are many people that can be doing that stuff or doing what I do, right? Yeah, so I hope that makes sense. So there has to be a name. So this is the name of the function. When you want to call it, it means you call it main. So this is the main function, and this is its data type because it's going to return an integer. So we all know what an integer is in mathematics. So these are positive and negative whole numbers, I guess. So now I hope we have understood this part. Now the parenthesis would say this is the head of the function. This is where you pass some logic thinking of your function. So this is where you pass arguments or parameters. So it's like you put a condition here such that if this condition is true, then this part will be executed. So I hope this is clear. So we'll come to these curly braces. So these curly braces are meaning the body of our function main. So this is the head here, then this is the body. So these curly braces are mainly there to group code and show where it belongs, or to keep it in blocks. So I have to use curly braces to show the start and the end of my code. Then this return keyword is used to return the integer value that I have written here. Since I said my function is of integer type, then it's going to return an integer which is 0. Then if it returns this integer 0 on the screen, then it means that our program has successfully run. Then if it returns any other value than this value that I've written here, then it means that our program hasn't run successfully. So for example, if I put a 2, if my program returns a 2, it means that my program has successfully run. If it returns any other value other than 2, then it means that my program has not successfully run. So here I'll put 0. So our main goal here is to write a program that is going to greet our user. So we'll use another keyword called cout plus some insertion operators. Then I'll put some speech marks. Then I'll say, hello, how are you? Hello, how are you? Then I put a question mark there. Then I put the end line. Then I also put the semicolon to show that my statement has ended. So this cout, the C simply means console, and this out means output. So this is the console output. So the console is the black window that appears whenever you run your program. It looks that much of the CMD or the command prompt if you have seen it, or if you are using Windows, it will look like that. And for Linux, it will be the terminal to look like the terminal. So these insertion operators, whenever you write a cout statement, they have to be followed by these insertion operators, these two angle brackets here, and they are facing the direction of the console, meaning they are pointing to the direction of the console. The console is the screen, so they are pointing to the screen, meaning this here is going to what? To the screen. So this text that I've written here is going to the screen. So they have to point the screen. Then these speech marks here, I'll explain in another video tutorial, but these represent a string. So a string is mainly a bunch of characters, of which I'll also explain. So it's a bunch of characters grouped together. So we use these two speech marks to show that this is a string. Then to show that my line has ended, I'll put again the insertion operators and put the end line, so that I tell my compiler that it must go to the whatever stuff that I'll write here after this should do, it should go to the next line, it should be printed to the next line. You come to understand this as we go on in our YouTube tutorials. So now I think we have written the program that we wanted to write that is supposed to greet our end user. So now I'm going to explain what to compile is, if I didn't, but I think I explained. So to compile is just to convert code from a higher level programming language to a lower level programming language. So we're going to compile our code here, then and run it. So for us to compile our code, we're going to click on the build button, which is here. When you hover at it here, you see that it's showing build, and even down here it will show build. So when you point at it, you say build the active project. So when you build this project, it means it will change this into an object code that the computer understands. Then when you run, the code will be run straight, then it will greet our end user. Then if you do not want to use these buttons separately or one by one, where you click this one, it builds, then you come here, run, because you have to build first, then come on run. Then we have this here, which is the shortcut of these two buttons, where you can just do the building and run at the same time. So after I've written this code, we're going to save our code. Then after saving, we're going to build and run. So as you can see here on our screen, we have hello, how are you? So the minute our end user clicked on our project, it greeted them, hello, how are you? So has our program run successfully? So when we look here on the process, it say process returns 0. So it means that our program executed successfully without any errors. So I hope you liked this video. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and remember to share this video, subscribe to the channel so that you won't miss any future updates. And if you have any questions, please make sure you leave them in the comment box below. If you have reached this point where I am, then it means that you have followed along and you have managed to build your first C++ program. So without wasting much of your time, I would like to say thank you, and please remember to have a nice day.